Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last episode of DWN Productions THC podcast, sponsored by Fast Custom Shirts here at BOYGOB.com and wherever the fuck else you're listening to it. But you can get all the links at BOYGOB.com.
Hey Tom, how's it going? How's your week been?
It's been a week. I ended up going to the doctor. Everybody, I want to apologize for last week when I tried to blow the old microphone here. I probably gave you all strep throat. So you might want to run out to the doctor and get some antibiotics for that if you're feeling a little odd in the throat. Which is weird. I gave them all the symptoms. And when I was telling them, they was like, that's weird. Normally something you don't want to hear them say. But that's all right. Joe been dealing with a lot of doctor stuff lately, that stuff you don't want to hear them say. So I'm used to it.
Was this just you're like going for a checkup or
no, because my throat's been fucked
okay,
up all these weeks.
You're sick. Okay.
Yeah, it was just like, God damn, all right, so what the fuck? Because it kept coming and going and coming and going. And just like right there and traveling up to my ear and making it hurt some. So I thought for sure, oh, fuck, genetics and all. Just strep throat. Dodged a bullet this time.
Yes.
So we'll see, man.
And are you feeling better now?
I mean, I felt all right then. My throat feels a little better, but I guess there's like 10 days of regimented antibiotics and I'm towards the end almost, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. So I mean, it's pretty much about the same that it was. So not when I was first sick all those 2 months ago. But yeah, I told them, just like, oh yeah, I had this for about 2 months. Their faces went white. Because you have to talk to the person first, and then the doctor comes in. You tell them all the same shit.
Yeah.
And it was weird because the first lady came in, she was black, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I've been having this for about 2 weeks, just fucking white, crazy." And then, yeah, the fucking then the doctor talked about my high blood pressure. And she's just, I guess she's just from looking at me. She's like, oh, yeah, well, I know you're not a happy camper, but you got to find stuff that you like to do to get this blood pressure down. Like, I don't know what I like to do. Not much.
Just watch movies, Tom. That's all you like to do.
Yeah, the shit I like to do fucking elevates my blood pressure. Yeah, fucking sit around, drink beer, smoke weed, and yeah, all right. So you're telling me I should do this? Yes, ma'am. Doctor's orders.
Yeah, with me, it's just prepping shit for Frightmare and figuring out what I can and can't get done in time for that. But that'll all come together. It's been kind of a blur this week. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of shit I got to get done. A lot of shit. I didn't do anything today but watch movies. And I should have gone into work, but I was already out of larges. And what the fuck can I do with no large shirts, Tom? Not much.
Print all the other ones?
Maybe, but it doesn't work like that. I got to do it in a pattern. Right, Skylar? Right, Skylar? Yeah, I know. You know from all your shirt making experience. Yeah, watched the movies. I watched The Bloody Pit of Horror. I didn't talk about this one last week, did I? Nah. Bloody Pit of Horror. This is I think it's Italian. Maybe it's Spanish. I don't know. But some people are going around and they're trying to make you know what a photo novel is, Tom? It's a book, but like a book of a movie, and it just has stills from the movie in there, and like maybe like little word captions coming up, like comic books. What the fuck do you want?
Your love.
Um, yeah, so they go to this castle and they're hoping to take some pictures there, and they brought some bimbos along with them, and it's going to be a racy photo novel. But they get in the castle, and the guy that owns the castle is real reclusive, you know. But he notices that, hey, one of his old ladies is among the models that's going to be there. Says, okay, y'all can go ahead and do that, but don't go into the dungeon. You know, just stay out of the dungeon. And they don't, Tom. They go into the dungeon. So he puts on a luchador mask and proceeds to kill them one by one because he's kind
With
of
a
just
fucking handgun?
no, he's got like torture devices, and I don't know. It's not good. It's not good at all, man. This movie was just really, really fucking boring. None of the dames look good. It just sucked. All the kills sucked. I don't know. This movie. It's been in public domain forever, so a lot of people have put it out, but I don't understand why. I don't understand why, Tom. It's not good. Do
Because
not
it's
recommend.
public domain.
It is already in the for sale box. Yeah, sorry, Severin. This was not a good one.
Yeah, shit. So we're talking about what we watched, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, we're still this far in, so haven't swore yet. So we'll hold off on that one because that'll involve some language of color, I assume. Joe, have you ever seen a television station or watched a television station, excuse me, back in the day called G4?
Yeah, I watched it a little. I was never a devotee of G4. I didn't really care a whole lot about it. Every once in a while, something would catch my eye, but nah.
Is that because you're not a big fat fucking nerd?
Probably. I mean, I'm a nerd, you know, but I'm not big and fat. I didn't know that was a requirement for G4. But yeah, I guess a lot of gamers are big and fat because they just sit around and game all day, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I
I guess
just kind of bought those because I liked them at the time. I played them once, I think.
the Wii at least tried to get them to move their arms a little, but they didn't go for that, did they?
I don't think so.
And you're a big Dance Revolution guy?
No, but old Curran was. Holy shit, that's like his favorite game ever. He'd spent his life savings at the mall fucking making the buttons on the floor or whatever cry with all his dancing. That's not a lie at all. 100%. He
I believe
fucking loves that shit.
that
Go
sounds
check
about
out the credits of Race War the remake. That's all his fucking dance revolution moves, I'm sure. Anyways, Joe,
anyway.
back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, there was a entertainment. I guess it was like the first channel for video games called G4. And they had some shows on there. I remember them playing a lot of cops and a lot of Ninja Warrior and a lot of reruns of Ninja Warrior. And their two big shows was like a video game review show called X Play and like a talk show, maybe variety show called Attack of the Show. Have you ever seen that one, Joe? Any episodes of that?
I don't know. I mean, there was one that was just like a not a news program, but just like telling you about new shit that was coming out in gaming. And you had some dorky guy and a tall redhead chick, and they would just talk about games. That was
Was the dorky guy a midget?
he had like dyed white or dyed blondish flat hair, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was X Play where they were talking like reviewing video games
Yeah,
and talking about new video games.
yeah. That's the
That one was
remember from G4.
That one was all right. I'd watch it from time to time, but I'm not the biggest video game guy. So if they're not talking about Mortal Kombat, don't really give a fuck. And that's where I turn this podcast up because we're about to talk to Mortal Kombat. Talk to Mortal Kombat like it's a fucking person. Anyways, Joe, I watched a documentary called Attack the Doc. It's I guess the rise and fall of Attack of the Show. This was a I guess talk show, maybe variety show on G4. I would argue that it was their biggest show. Uh bunch of skits and jokes and talking about stuff that's coming out like you said, and it was pretty funny and edgy for the time. I think it died out a lot because of the rise of YouTube and being able to do things like this or whatever, but in better quality with better cameras and much more money behind them. But anyways, the beginning of this documentary, it says this documentary was made for the fans and by the fans, and then you find out that it's fucking made by one of the guys from the show.
Yeah, makes sense.
And he really likes being that he was a part of this show, and he lets you know that in this fucking documentary. But this was crowdfunded, so I guess there you go. By the fans for the fans. We took your money for it just to see what was up. I was just because I watched this digitally on Amazon Prime. I think it was like $2 or $3, very reasonable. Not like the 6, 7, $20 that they charge you. It's like, listen, we're 3 minutes away. I can't. Listen here, you know good Nick. $20, $8 to digitally rent a movie when it was $4 to rent the actual physical disc at a store. That's ridiculous. You don't have any overhead with these discs. People probably wouldn't be fucking sailing the high seas to watch your can't swear yet to watch your effing movies if you charged reasonable prices. But this one was reasonable. So I watched it, Joe, and it was pretty good. I thought I watched a lot more of this than I did. I probably started watching, I don't know, let's just say 6 months before Code Monkeys started. And that was probably my favorite show on the network. It was an animated show about video game programmers. Very edgy for the time, Joe. And I probably stopped watching uh, maybe 6 months to a year after Code Monkeys wrapped up. When all right, we're not bringing it back for a third season. Brushed my hands. Well, I guess I'm done here. But me not really liking episodic television. That's a good time for me to follow something. So, uh it's kind of hard to go back and watch any of these episodes of Attack of the Show since it was all very it was a daily show, so it's just talking about what's coming out then and around that time or the news of that day. But I did watch a bunch of clips from it, and it was pretty funny. Some of the stuff holds up. It's fucking definitely shit that probably wouldn't fly on fucking, prime time cable. Well, maybe it would. I don't know.
So
But
what's the title of this thing again?
Attack of the Doc. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do.
Something
Because
after that, like the rise and fall of, or what?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a document. It's a doc, son, on the show Attack of the Show. And the main host was Kevin Pereira and Olivia Munn, who went on to bigger and greater things, like working with what's his nuts, the X-Men guy, the guy who likes to have the pool parties.
Yeah.
That guy, she leveled up and got to work with him. Oh shit. But yeah, I don't see this documentary being for anybody who never watched the fucking show.
So did they talk about like the demise of the show, or why they stopped doing it, or just people just stopped giving a fuck?
Yeah, I guess Comcast or something bought them out and they're just like, yeah, we don't want to fuck with this anymore. Oh, yes, it's over 15 minutes. We made it, Joe. Sorry, I was gonna say fuck. I couldn't even do it 15 minutes again, but fuck that shit. We did it, Joe.
Fuck like 10 then that's why I went ahead and started.
Okay. Hello and welcome to this fucking episode of DWN Productions. But yeah, man, it was good shit. If you liked Attack of the Show or G4 or whatever, it was good shit. Kevin Pereira and Olivia Munn had some good chemistry for sure. And they did a lot of wild ass shit that wouldn't be able to be done today. Like fucking there was one segment that they were just dressed up like morbidly obese motherfuckers, just talking about how great it was being fat, not giving a fuck about your life. Then they had one skit where Olivia Munn got hit by a car and they brought her back as the lesbianic woman. And it was just a bunch of, as you would say, bull dyke humor. So definitely wouldn't be able to do shit like that anymore. And it was just a lot of wild fucking shit, man. I watched a compilation of like the best of. It was maybe about 40 minutes long, and I had some good chuckles and shit. Like I said, I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll fucking download a couple episodes. Like, you can't unless there's like a certain date back because they got like 1,000 episodes, maybe. Unless there's like a certain date you want to go back and remember that day. I don't know. But it was funny shit. Man, it was just remembering how edgy you were able to be, and it was just good, clean fun. Nobody was fucking getting all up in arms about shit. But the lack of black people was kind of questionable. I did notice that when I was watching it. I was, where the fuck was this filmed? Alabama? Oh, it's still pretty funny though, but I did notice that. But yeah, if you're a fan of Attack the Show, check out Attack the Doc. If you're not, then I couldn't even recommend you going and watching any fucking YouTube clips or anything because who gives a fuck? You had to be there, man. You had to be there. Or you didn't. Fuck do
Nah,
I care, really?
he doesn't. Uh, Tom, I watched the breakout hit Terrifier 2. Have you?
Fuck. I have an acquaintance who was in that movie.
Do you?
I do. He flew an airplane or something. I don't know. I never watched the motherfucker.
I don't remember an airplane in this movie, but okay.
Do you remember a pilot?
No,
No shit.
that doesn't mean it didn't happen because
No, he could be a fucking liar.
I fell asleep in this movie twice. It starts off the next year, Halloween. You know, in the first movie they killed Art the Clown, but then some spirit brought him back to life. So we already know, hey, you can't kill this guy. You know, it's one of those movies. It's a Jason, it's a Freddy, it's a fucking Michael Myers. You know, you can't kill him. They're just, they got to write a plot around him killing other people because, I don't know. But they wrote a hell of a plot, Tom. A 2.5 hour long fucking plot. This movie is long, and there's some dream sequences that are just fucking boring. Like, what the hell is it? I don't know. They're trying to add some backstory to Art.
You're making a fucking slasher movie. Hour 20, hour 30 at max, and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. Because it's all about the kills. It's a slasher movie. It's all about how you're going to kill. They're trying to do some backstory with him to where now he's got some little girl, Art the Clown type character that's hanging out with him. But sometimes other people can see her, other times they can't. So I don't know. And our main character in this is some young lady that I don't know has anxiety or some shit, and she's got a little brother that looks quite a bit like young Holland over here.
Was he wearing red suspenders and shit?
Yeah. No, it looked uncannily like him at some points. Um, but the movie itself, man, it's like they're trying to tie it into like their dad had some kind of connection to Art the Clown, and they build up on that, and her dad. She's making a costume for Halloween that her dad had designed, that he drew. Her dad used to like to draw, and they're making a big deal about this sword that her dad gave her. So she's gonna dress up like some kind of angelic character, but nothing really happens with the fucking sword. They do all this shit, all this background. They don't do anything with it. Like they fucking forgot about it, or I don't know. The special effects, they're pretty good for the most part, but again, they break that cardinal rule of lingering too long, and it just, oh well, that looks fucking fake. Where all their other quick cut stuff that looks good, because you can't give people time to figure out how it's done, or like, oh shit, that's some horrible looking rubber there. Um, the guy that plays Art the Clown, he does a good job. It's just like the first movie. He's not doing anything different than that, but he can make him fun and creepy too. So it's got that. I can see why it's got a lot of popularity behind it, but the movie's just, yeah, it's all right. It's nothing that I would want to watch again. The first one, I think I fell asleep on the first one too, the first time I saw that. So this has been a tradition. If they make another one, I don't know, it'll probably be a studio movie. So they will tell them, nah, you need to cut that shit, cut at least an hour out of that. We're gonna have like 8 screen times. Can't knock it down and have it just 4 screen time. How are we gonna make money? It's a business, man. It's a business. Fuck you, horror people. Uh, yeah, it's gonna be something like that. So I don't know. I guess if you're a fan of this, enjoy. I'm just an asshole with an opinion. Uh, Better opinion than yours, though. This movie ain't good.
Would you pay $65 for a 8x10 selfie combo from the clown?
No, but I wouldn't do that with shit hardly anybody. I don't think. A lot of
Yeah,
a lot of people will.
I was thinking about checking this one out, and then I was just like, I don't really care for the first one. It's, a mean-spirited, quote unquote, torture porn movie, and it's 2.5 hours fucking long, dog.
Very
I've
long.
watched enough horror movies and just different movies in general to know that Stabby McClown probably doesn't need 2.5 hours to tell this chapter of whatever story's happening here. So I did see that like the lady's mauled face or whatever looks a lot better in the second one. So I applaud him for that. And I mean, I seen a still image of that, so I'm good. That was my big gripe from the first movie, besides it not being very good.
Well,
And
then
if they
just
improved on that,
at the end of it, because they cut off Art's head, they decapitate him at the end of this one. But that doesn't fucking matter. Like we established, you can't kill him. So at the end of it, they have a post-credit scene where it shows that one lady from the first movie, she's in the asylum, and I don't know, she just starts screaming, fucking blood starts coming out from between her legs, and then she gives birth to Art the Clown's head. I don't know what the fuck's going on, what that had to do with anything.
I mean, it sounds pretty edgy and cool.
Yeah, I guess that was the I don't know.
Oh, she got a little head. You get it? Till next time, bitch. Whoosh, and then Freddy's claws come up across the screen. The end. Oh, waka waka. You fuck.
Isn't that exciting?
No.
Oh.
Well, Joe, the fuck did I do? I listened to an audio book. You like audio books, do you, Joe? Of course you don't. Look at you with your fucking glasses. You probably like the feel of a hardbound book and you sniff the pages after you turn each one. Look at that. What does it smell like?
Paper.
Probably your own seed. Because I got sent a screenshot of your phone and you had a lot of tabs open, Joe. Do you have no shame? Do
Not
you
really.
have no? Hey, everyone's out of the house. I'm going to paint the walls. Is that
No.
what you thought,
I,
Joe? Is that why you bought out all the peanut butter in Dallas, Texas, Joe? Because it was just going to be you and the
I,
dog this weekend.
wait.
Give me all the peanut butter you have and one pair of oven mitts,
Like,
please.
think I. Oh wait. I have. Okay.
Anyways, Joe, I listened to Tremendous, the life of the comedy savage, the Joey Coco Diaz story. Hopefully they can fit more words in the title next time. It was pretty good, Joe. Do you know who this gentle fellow is?
Not familiar with him.
He's a big fat Cuban man. I think he got most popular doing his podcast, The Church of What's Happening Now. Excuse me. Used to listen to that shit all the fucking time. And then COVID hit and they shut that down. He moved back to Jersey and started a new podcast called Uncle Joey's Joint. Pretty much the same thing, but his sidekick isn't there anymore. Uh Starts out him and his mom leave Cuba, and I guess his sister wasn't able to get out of Cuba. I don't know how that fucking happens, but she's like never brought up again. Just like, oh yeah, me and my mom, we fucking moved to New Jersey or whatever, and my sister couldn't get out of Cuba. Shit. So his mom's like running a bar and fucking selling blow and pussy and shit out of it. And that's what he was uh what's it subjected to? Uh what's that word I'm looking for? That's the world he was in at a very young age until
The
I
environment.
guess the environment. Yes, that was his environment. Like instead of getting a babysitter or anything, the bar was his babysitter.
So you're
So it,
telling that illegal immigrants from Cuba come to our country and start dealing drugs and prostitutes?
I don't know if they're dealing, bro. I guess maybe they are, Joe. But I misspoke. I meant to say Cuba. My bad, because they're Cubans, right? That's how you say it.
Yes.
So I mean, it's a bunch of that growing up. His dad died young, so he got a stepfather, and he's saying like his mom was just like one of these tough bra bar broads. Pardon me. That pretty much what you would picture what she was and shit like that. And just really weird. Just a really weird upbringing. And at about 16 his mom dies of a heart attack, and I was just like, ah, shit. That part got to me. I welled up a little bit. And then from there it's about him turning to a life of crime, selling blow, ripping people off, and moving to Colorado, where he hooks up with this one lady. They get married, have a kid and shit. He's still doing blow, fucking selling blow. He gets fucking caught up with a kidnapping charge and he goes to fucking jail for a fucking year or some shit. He gets out and his wife's with another guy now or something, and his kids maybe 4 or 5. He's trying to be a part of her life, and the I guess the kid's mom and the new guy, they don't really want him having a part of it. So they're just kind of being a dickhead for it instead of, fighting for your kid so you can see your kid. Kind of just comes off, oh, it was too hard. So, I just thought she needed a better life. So I just let him take care of her. And that was it. I was out of her life. Now I'm not a father, Joe. You are. I couldn't see myself just, fuck it, whatever. Could you? Is this something that you could do?
No, but a lot of people do. That's not uncommon at all.
Weird.
Hmm.
Very weird. Maybe it was because they just left their sister in Cuba. He's whatever. And then later on in the book, after he becomes quote unquote successful and all that, he gets a hold of the mom asking if like they can talk to the kid or whatever, saying, oh, I'm off drugs or whatever, all that shit now. And she'll, I'll pass the message along. And he never heard from her again. Which kind of makes fucking sense. But yeah, that shit's just fucking, I don't know. Like that's one of the main things in this book that I'm just like, yeah, you might have been able to overcome drugs and all that, but that's some piece of shit, especially now that he has a kid with another lady. Well, I mean, I guess they're a happy family and all that now. Good for him and shit. He's like, yeah, now I got my second chance. Well, that's kind of a fucked up thing to say.
So what's his claim to fame? Just having a podcast?
Yeah, and he was in a couple movies. I don't think like any major roles. He was one of the referees in basketball. He was in that Adam Sandler movie, The Longest Yard. But I mean, he's a funny fucking dude. I won't take that away for him. Lori and I went to Austin one time, see him do stand up. Oh, dude, these motherfuckers were eating like chicken wings or whatever the fuck they bought in the front row. And he just blah, 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 spitting. all that shit. That shit was fucking hilarious. But yeah. Oh shit, those hungry bitches. And yeah, after that, I mean he stops doing blow, does a podcast and shit, and I guess it all fucking works out in the end, except for his fucking sister and his original daughter, I guess. But it was good. I really liked it. It was like because a lot of these stories you heard him tell before on his podcast and shit, or as he would say, podcast. Guess that's how they speak, Joe. But yeah, I don't know why you would read the fucking book when he narrates his own audio book, just so it's like a long fucking version of the podcast, I guess. But it's worth checking out if you're a fan of his. Although if you listen to the podcast, you probably heard this shit before. Besides hearing some wild ass fucking stories and having some laughs, I don't know why I couldn't say, oh man, you got to pick this book up. It's so fucking enlightening and it'll change your life. I mean, there's some good stories in there, like try and do better with your life and stuff like that. But I'm happy he turned his fucking life around and he's doing better and all that. But that shit with the daughter and just leaving his sister in Cuba, even though he was a kid, I guess that's more on the mom. That shit just doesn't really sit right with me. But everyone's different, walk a mile in their shoes and all that, I guess. It's easy to talk, but people are people, Joe. They're not things.
Well, Tom, I watched finally. I watched the 2010 updated version of The Wolfman, Universal Pictures. Do I have it
I
here?
saw this in theaters.
Did you?
Opening weekend. Probably fucking the Thursday preview thing, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah. So this one's going in the box. It's Benicio del Toro. He's an actor, Tom, and his sister-in-law comes by and says, "Hey, your brother's missing. Can you come back to England, merry old England, and try to find him?" And it's, nah, yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay, I'll do it. He goes back, and then turns out they've already found his brother dead. Tom, dead. Not just dead, but mutilated, terribly mutilated. See, there's some kind of, I don't know, either a lunar tick that's going around or some kind of creature, maybe a bear that's going around just killing folks. And the citizenry of this little town, which they say it's a little town, but later on we see a skyline and it looks like fucking huge, like they're in Paris. That we were in the countryside. But anyway, he's hunting for this thing and he gets attacked. And now he's cursed with the curse of the werewolf, Tom. He's talking with his dad. There's something particular about his dad. There's something that he doesn't know that's not quite right. Turns out his dad is also a werewolf, Tom. His dad enjoys being a werewolf, though. So
I can't remember in this one. Do they still call him Jimmy Talbot, or is it a different name since he's a
yeah,
Mexican guy now?
Larry Talbot still.
Okay.
Yeah, and
It's not a very Spanish name.
no, and his father enjoys
White as snow.
Anthony Hopkins.
Sir.
Sir Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, for all that brave shit he did, he gets to be a knight. The movie's, you know, I can't say it was bad, but
No, shit sucks. You can say
not
it was bad. It's all right.
you
Him
know.
fucking jumping around that little room fighting the other fucking get the fuck out of here.
Balls. Like, fuck, dude, where was
He looked like a fucking country bear when he's changing. He's wearing that little vest and shit.
when he
Fuck you.
running? That looks horrible, And yeah, the fight between him and his dad at the end, it's like a fucking Marvel fight, They punch and then they fly across the room, slam into the wall. It's fucking yeah, that part's lousy.
The whole movie fucking sucks, Joe. It's okay to say that.
It
Fucking
looks good,
sucks.
It's a good looking flick.
It was in focus.
There's times that the werewolf looks good, and then there's times that it looks bad. And that's what's rough about it. There's no consistency to how it
The
looks.
makeup that I think Dave Elsey did, that shit looks okay. Like it kind of looks like the classic, kind of not. It looks okay. But then they fucking bring in the CGI and that fucking fur blur, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Awful. Rubbish for the bin, mate. The whole fucking thing's he's all chained up and he's doing fucking Nightcrawler Bamf shit. Shit sucks. That fucking League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, when that fucking big jerk off, what Dr. Hyde, when he's transforming, it looks better. And that shit fucking sucked. So, yeah.
Man, movie, you didn't even watch it again.
No, I'm fucking
Yeah,
not watching this shit again, ever.
it was fair. Not fair enough for me to keep that movie, but I don't know. If you got nothing else to watch, throw it on. Whatever.
Nah, fuck no.
Or go listen
Look
to
at yourself in the mirror.
about a podcaster. If that's fuck.
Yeah, and this audio book, it was only like 6.5 hours long. That does not seem like a long book.
Mm-mm.
So, but yeah, fuck the Wolfman, whatever year it came out. Shit sucked. Oh, but he has the cane. You see, the cane's there. Ooh,
That-
fuck you. Yeah, definitely go watch the one with Lon Chaney Jr. I mean, you can see all those stupid fucking flashlight effects where he changes into a werewolf. That's better CG than the fucking shit in this movie. It sucked. Fuck. We fucking drove, like, because it was before fucking, what's it called? The Thursday night screenings were as popular and as big as they were now. Wasn't in every theater. So we had to drive up to Tomball, which was like an hour. It's in my fucking pants, which was like a fucking hour and 20 minutes away. Oh, fuck. And then having to drive back after watching that garbage ass movie. Fuck off. I think I got a Euro there too, and it was fucking awful. Oh, really? A Euro at a movie theater sucked a dick, huh, fat boy? Yeah, it did. Shocked. I know. Fuck that movie. Joe, you ever heard of the film series The Watchers?
Yes.
You ever seen any of them?
Maybe.
I just watched the first one the other day.
Read the book is excellent.
Is it excelente?
It is. There was a time there, that time period, when Dean Koontz was actually writing some good shit, and Watchers is among his best books. That's really, really good read.
So what do you remember this book
The
being
movie,
about?
I don't remember being very good at all.
What do you remember the book being about?
Well, it's about there's an escape, a dog escape from a laboratory where it's being tested, and meets a kid, and the kid turns out that the dog's fucking smart, Tom. It's not just a dog, but something else is busted out of there too, Tom. Some other creature that they've been experimenting on, and I don't know, some lady and some fucking guy get together or something. I don't know. I don't know. Really good. And the dog, it's about a dog, so it's likable to me.
Yeah, so after the dog busts out of after the lab busts out of the lab, comes across old Corey Haim, Joe. You remember him?
Yep.
Sure you do. Old 222. So Corey Haim takes an affinity to the dog, and the dog takes an affinity to Corey Haim because he smells like peanut butter. And the fucking monsters hunting down the dog, people who work for the lab are hunting down the dog and the monster. There's some okay-ish stuff in here. The monster looks like a fucking herpes infected crate beast from Creepshow, but not as good. I don't know, dude. I wasn't and never have been a fucking 11-year-old girl trying to get impregnated by fucking Corey Haim. So I don't get it. I don't get why this guy was a thing. He couldn't act. Uh yeah, this was a whole bunch of fucking who gives a shit, really. Uh if you're interested, watch it, I guess, but there's fucking nothing in there. It's like, oh, you got a motherfucker. Michael Ironside's in it. He's fucking acting like Michael Ironside. If you haven't seen like what Michael Ironside looks like these days, go look at that shit. That would be fucking more entertaining than watching this movie because he does not look like the same guy. Here's is that the motherfucker from Cheers? Crazy. But yeah, Watchers, who gives a fuck? Tune in next week. Find out what's going on with Watchers 2. I let you vote, but I'm going to be watching all this shit. Fuck you. How about that? We all win, except nobody watched or fucking voted for Peter Benchley's Creature, but who gives a shit? I'll watch that too. Suck a dick. Joe, What did you watch?
I watched Metamorphosis, the Alien Factor. This, Tom told me, is a sequel to The Deadly Spawn. And this movie, it's not a sequel to The Deadly Spawn. In fact, I see no connection aside for we got some shit from space.
So the original people who made it, they set out to make a sequel, and then the script just kind of got away from them. You know how that happened? Just set out to do something, then just kind of gets away from. I don't know what the fuck that means, but that was the explanation on why this was the Deadly Spawn 2.
Mm. Well, none of the posters that I saw said Deadly Spawn 2. It's only
Me
you
neither.
saying that.
No, I've seen it mentioned for sure.
This movie is about a uh, like a lab corporation that is researching some DNA alien samples that the government gave them. That, hey, research this shit, find out what this stuff is, and things are going all right. They got some like little pet alien creatures there, so it's not just DNA. They got fucking organisms there, and one of them is just like some weird looking little. I don't know what the fuck it is. It just looks stupid. The other one is the dog from The Thing. It just got its head out there. But a guy slips up one day and he gets bit by one of these creatures. So now he's undergoing a metamorphosis. Well, not just any metamorphosis, Tom. This one has an alien factor to it. So
Not just a alien factor, it has the alien factor.
he, the guy's just changing. So now they're fucking trying to figure out, well, how do we save him? How do we reverse this alien factor? But, turns out like, hey, sometimes when people don't come home, like their families notice that, like it didn't work and you don't go home, like the kids are probably going to notice, and his daughters do. Hey, where the hell's dad? Let's go.
Oh, shut up, you silly bitch. It says here in the computer that he never went. He was probably off drinking. Shoo shoo, get the fuck out. Killer! Well,
Yeah.
that escalated very quickly.
So yeah, the guy that's running the lab, the guy that owns the corporation, he's trying to hush this all up, and if that means killing a couple of girls to do it, that's what he's gonna do. He hires brings two thugs in, not your typical Italian goombas this time. Uh,
Goombas?
we have
Like from Super Mario?
yeah,
Fucking racist.
you've got a gentleman that's wearing a nice tie, and then you have this other guy that just likes to shoot stuff and ask questions later. Tom, this movie's all right. Out of all the other stuff I've watched or have talked about, this is definitely the best one I watched this week. Yeah, better than Terrifier 2. The alien, for the most part, looks good, but there's times when they do some
Yeah.
stop motion and claymation or whatever, and that looks really, really bad.
I
And
think it has charm,
of
Joe.
course you do, but I think it's. But the monster looks all right. Looks
For
all.
the most part.
Yeah,
There's these little fucking mandible things it put like on the far end of the tip of the mouth to make it have like, oh, it's an extra mouth, like some weird insect alien mandible thing. You could have got rid of that. You didn't need to put a mouth on a mouth. That's kind of, and it's
yeah, I agree. It looks.
pretty. It's what?
Yeah, I agree. It looks good.
The monster pretty much looks the same as the first one, except it's a little more elongated, I guess Tremor-esque. But for the most part, it looks very similar to the monster in the first one, except the guy gets bit by an alien and he slowly transforms into this thing. And it's some of the stuff's pretty crude, but it's fun. I mean, it'd be horrific to go through this. Like, this guy's turning into like a fucking bloody pile of cum, and everybody's just around him, just taking notes, living their lives all happy go lucky. Who the fuck is calling it this time?
At
It's
11.
just one. That's weird. I know.
God,
And yeah, he's clearly in a lot of pain, and they're just like, just smiling, taking notes, letting him go through as much pain as the human body could possibly withstand, instead of just walking up and putting a bullet in his fucking head or something. But all that stuff's cool. A lot of cool effects and monster stuff. If you're a fan of monster movies and creature features, I'm sure you pass this one up a lot because the fucking DVD art is just fucking awful. I know that's why I haven't watched it till now, but
I'd never even heard of this one before you mentioned it last week.
that's just because you're not down. You fake the funk, as they say. But
Yeah,
that's okay, Joe.
the poster. I don't remember ever seeing that anywhere.
It was just DVD art. So as long as you didn't spend all your days just roaming the fucking movie aisles and not getting blown, then you probably would never have seen this, Joe. Unfortunately, that's what I was. That's what I was doing. But yeah, it's worth a watch. It's worth checking out. I think it's on par with the Deadly Spawn. Think the main monster in the first one looks a little better just because it doesn't have that stupid extra set of fucking mandibles or whatever it's supposed to be. But beyond that, I think it's pretty on par. Again, simple fucking story, but so is the first one. Watch them both or don't. I don't give a fuck at all. At all, Joe. You know what I do give a fuck about though?
Tomatoes.
No. I give a fuck about walking the edge, Joe. Because, if you take one step, then you're off the edge. And what does that mean? You're not walking the edge anymore, I guess. You ever heard of this one?
No.
This is one starring old Bob Forrester, and he's a cabbie. Because, he looks like the kind of guy who would play a cabbie in a movie. So a lady hires him to drive her around for the day. But what he doesn't know is that her husband and son were just murdered by Joe Spinell and his gang because her husband was a drug dealer. So now she's out for revengeance. So she stops at the first place, kills the guy, goes smoothly. And then she says, "Okay, take me to this fucking auto mechanic place." And the rest of the guys are there. And it doesn't go as smoothly, Joe. So now they're on the run and they have to hide out. And now it's up to old Bob Forrester to get his balls in his hands and get revengeance on all these motherfuckers. It's pretty good, Joe. A very, very good Saturday movie. You watch this and be like, oh, yeah, it had everything I wanted out of a movie like this.
So why is
You'll
he? Did they not pay the fare, or?
Because the guys are going to kill him because they think that he's part of it.
Ah, okay.
He's going to get to them before they can get to him. And one of the guys, he
Because they made
fucking,
about him.
yes.
Okay.
So one of the guys, he follows into a bathroom and then sticks a knife right up his asshole before he calls him a real asshole. And then he shoves the knife further up his asshole. And then he shoves the knife even further up this guy's asshole. And then they just cut to a fucking shot of blood just spilling out of this guy. Fucking hilarious. Because when you think good old Bob Forster, you don't think of him shoving steak knives into the backsides of men, you see. Good stuff. Joe, you'll like it because it has a lot of language that is frowned upon these days. So, all around, just a pretty. You know what? It doesn't have everything you'd want. You personally, I don't like this stuff in the movies, so that's probably why I liked it a little more. No rape, so that was a nice thing to see in a good old revenge movie. That there was a lack of rape. So check out fucking Walking the Edge. It's going out of print on the old Vinegar Syndrome site, so you can get it for $10 plus shipping, which is very, very fair, I would say. Also, considering that their movies are $85 plus shipping and tax. So, Walking the Edge would recommend, Joe. Hey, Joe, you like a little marinara on those noodles, or you
Yeah,
more of a bolognese fan?
yeah, I'd rather do the bolognese than
Some meat sauce.
yeah. Um, yeah, so this was Tom's pick for our new
It wasn't my pick, Joe. Whose pick was it?
it was
It was the audience's pick.
the
Unlike some people, I don't vote in our own shit.
which I didn't know there was more than two, and hadn't seen this movie in quite a while. Man, it's just not funny. It's a movie about tomatoes that start attacking the populace. But if you're honest, that's just what holds the movie together, because it's just a series of gags that that they're doing that it's just dumb. It's just like a bunch of silly, dumb shit that is unfortunately not funny.
So as we talked about last week, we're going to start the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes franchise, and I said, Joe, this first one, not the biggest fan of. It's very. I don't know the name for this type of comedy, but I want to call it like Who's on First comedy, or throw everything at the wall and see what sticks comedy. I don't know which one fits better, but I think this was like the first one of those movies, because on the interviews on the Blu-ray it said Airplane came out a few months after this one, and like Airplane's the go-to when you're talking about this style of comedy movie. So I think this could be the first one. While it still isn't my favorite one in the series, I did like it more this go around. Maybe because it's been fucking years, decades since I've seen it. Maybe I thought it was gonna be like a lot worse, but it was okay. I don't think I'll watch it again for a very, very long time, but it was all right. It just starts out, tomatoes start killing motherfuckers. If you eat them, you die, or they just fucking make fucking noises like that and fucking attack you. All different shapes, all different sizes. Some of them may be apples. You'll never know unless you pause and look at them, like, oh yeah, those are a couple apples. But yeah, it's just a lot of cram, is as many fucking jokes in there as we possibly can. And I will say there was one joke that I fucking was not expecting, even though I seen this movie, and I laughed for probably a good whole minute, Joe. And I know that you said there was a joke in this movie that you liked. So would you like to tell us the one thing you found funny in this movie, Joe?
No, but I'll tell you, it starts off with a helicopter crash, and it's like fuck, like you crash a helicopter. I did some research, Tom. I read some little things. It says that was not planned.
No.
Just wrecked this thing, and it ended up costing them like
More than the movie.
more than the movie. Yeah, that they wrecked the helicopter rental. It's pretty fucked. But yeah, no, I didn't like the musical numbers. Uh, yeah, this like everybody looks weird in it. You know, just an odd looking people.
Yeah, it's extremely dated.
Yeah,
So what, you like this less than the House movies, Joe?
yeah, I would say so. But we're definitely living up to the terrible horror crap name because this is some not good shit. Not shit I watching. You know, I'm not having fun with this. Like, why am I fucking? You know, it's the Tom Hanks and the square next to me. I don't know.
That one joke was pretty good though.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
they
That
hold,
one.
they hold that one joke, and I knew it was coming. Still laugh.
Oh, it's a fruit. Ah, I see. Terrific. 10 out of 10 tomatoes, Joe. That's what I would give it.
Yeah, and I'm not looking forward to watching the other one. So I don't even know if they're streaming anywhere. Hopefully they're not. That way I can just say, nah, couldn't find it. Tom, tell us all about it, and I'll just.
The second one is, and I did send you links to the other ones.
Did you?
So I did.
Fuck. All right.
Mm. So yeah, next week get ready for Return of the Killer Tomatoes, starring Dust Till Dawn's own George Clooney, Joe. Can't wait. Definitely a different style of humor in the next one. And I think John Astin comes in the next one. Could be the third one, but I think he does show up in the next one, Joe. And we all know how much of a Gomez fan you are. But more than a Gomez, or a Gomezite, as more as somebody who would like to have sex with geriatric John Astin, you'd even more so like to have sex with Spider-Man, Joe. So how about you swing into another exciting adventure of Spider-Man?
When we last left Spider-Man, he was plummeting to his death. He was gonna die. You know, there's no buildings to latch onto with a trusty old web shooter. But how's that to stop a Spider-Man when he can just shoot his webs and make a hang glider out of it?
Might be a little bumpy of a landing.
How he manages this to make a hang glider out of webs, I don't fucking know. It's
That
dumb.
quick.
That is the dumbest shit. Yeah, never tried it before, but hey. So he hang glides back into the city. All right, that was fun. Let me go back to the apartment and wash my uniform. And while he's there, his neighbor brings him some cake. Big excitement going on in Spider-Man's. He goes back to the Daily Bugle, and J. Jonah Jerklin's run off another secretary, you know, just yelling at her, being mean, threatening to hit the poor young lady. We learned that their competition, I forgot what that other paper is called. They've been hiring a lot of the staff from the Daily Bugle. Are they going to come after Peter Parker and get them to go work for them? I don't know. We'll find out. But anyway, Dr. Octopus pops up. He's at some plant or some fucking science place because he's got a plan to get rid of Hammerhead, the ghost of Hammerhead that's been following him around. And so he lures Hammerhead there.
And
But
Auntie May is still with him.
mhm, yeah, 'cause she don't want to be around that dreadful Spider-Man's. But Spider-Man's is there, and oh wait a minute, this is all a setup. This is exactly what Hammerhead wanted because this thing that Doctor Octopus built that's supposed to get rid of the ghost turns Hammerhead back into a flesh and blood hammer-headed gangster, Tom. And
So
that's
he
what
created a god machine.
yeah, and that on that fucking cliffhanger there. You know, shit, Hammerhead's back. What now? I don't know. Beat him up. Those mechanical arms of yours that are supposed to be so badass, just kick his ass.
As long as he doesn't headbutt you in the cock, he should be all right, bud.
Yeah. Yeah, another not good issue. But
You're kidding.
I thought the art was a little bit better this time around. But not good. You know?
That's just because a week before the pages were due, good old Ross Andrew got hit by a bus.
Probably. Yeah.
Luckily, his arm still works, so he'll be back next issue. Hey, Joe, you like lists?
Sometimes, Tom. Other times I really don't. But you know, spur of the moment, Tom asked me, "Hey, what's our list?" And so I saw that they were doing a coronation for that weird looking dude out in England, making him their king. Like one of the oddest looking motherfuckers around. That's your king. But anyway, got me thinking like we should do our top 10 movies that have to do with kings. And at number 5, I have The King of New York, starring Christopher Walken. Good movie, Tom. Comes out of prison. He's going to get his empire back. The king. Long live the king.
So everybody's got a Christopher Walken impression, Joe. And that being your number 5, I'm sure you got a pretty good one.
Hey, Tom.
What?
There we go.
It's nothing. Nothing.
Just like him.
No. Oh, shit. Joe, my number 5 is the John Goodman classic, King Kong, Skull Island. King's in the name, you see.
It is. Tom, at number 4, I have King Kong, the 1976 version. He's the king of that island. Kinda. I don't know. They worship him. You know, he's not wearing a crown or anything. He's King Kong. That's his name. That's what the natives call him.
Jeff Bridges went on to make much better things. Joe, my number 4 is GMK, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, giant monsters all out attack. King's in the name, you see.
Mm-hmm. At number 3, have Bubba Hotep, which features the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Good movie. I dig it. I think Tom froze.
Nope.
Yep. Oh.
Not at all.
I can say, well, that's all we got time for today, folks.
Number 3,
Mm-hmm.
I have Godzilla, Final Wars. Because Godzilla's the king of the monsters, you see.
Good. At number 2, I have the Jungle Book, which features King Louis. And doesn't matter which Jungle Book you pick, all the adaptations have been good.
I like the most recent Disney live adaptation where Christopher Walken played his voice, Joe.
Whose voice?
King Louis.
Did he play King Louis? I don't remember that. But okay.
You're a Christopher Walken fan.
I guess I am.
Joe, my number 2 is a movie about a man with a growth on his pecker. No, not me, but Elvis. Bubba Hotep. I bet the book sucks because it's a book, but the movie's pretty good because it's a movie. Bubba Hotep.
At number one, I have Excalibur, the best movie ever made on the Arthurian legends. Arthur being King Arthur, Excalibur being his sword.
It was in the stone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, my number one is about a man, but not name fuck, but not any man. A man named El Rey. And as for all our Russian fans out there know, El Rey means the king. And he starred in the movie Planet Terror. And Joe, those were our top 10 movies about kings. But tune in next week where we count down our top 5 injuries that we've suffered through our lives, Joe. So tune in for that. Head on over to dwnproductions.net. Get a mask. Maybe you want some shit painted like that. I'm going to paint a few fucking more things like this. I'll have them at Frightmare. Maybe you'll want them. Maybe you won't. Head on over to dwnproductions.net. Maybe there's something over there that you want painted like this. But if not, I'll fucking paint it however the fuck you want. Joe, shirts?
FastCustomShirts.com. It's right here. Go over there, pick some shirts out. I'm busy this week, next week, the week after that. A lot of shit to do, but place an order if you want to anyway. They'll get done.
Everybody, have a fucking great week. Smell like angels ought to smell. And boy, God.